Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to the Humble Servant Homestead, guys. Today, I am out here at another location, guys, where I planted some kashar squash. Okay, now the reason why I plant them over here is because I have another variety of pumpkins at the house that I have planted. But one thing that I want you to know, guys, that this kashar squash right here is not a pumpkin. Now, it have characteristics of pumpkins. It act like pumpkins, but it is actually a squash, guys. It is actually a summer squash.
Winter.
Oh, excuse me. A winter squash variety that we have planted here. Now, what I've noticed when I planted this kashar squash right here, because yes, it is my first time planting it. Okay. Now, what I've noticed in the beginning when this squash started to take off and was running all over the place, it was a whole bunch of blossoms comes out everywhere. And of course, you can see we have some fruit that took. But after a while, all the blossoms, guys, it was no more blossoms. Okay. So it produced all at once, and then blossom productivity shut down. Okay. So that's what I've noticed with this squash right here. Okay. Now, this location where I have the squash planted, I don't have any water source over here. So I actually have to drive from my home over here to water these squash, guys. And of course, the Most High have been blessing us with rain as well to water these squash. But I am actually over here today just to kind of talk a little bit about these squash and just to kind of show you all the productivity of the squash as well. So one of the things that I want to talk about right here a little bit about these winter squash right here, guys. Now, of course, you know, we all love to grow different kind of squash and stuff like that, and we oftentimes get plagued with those crazy bugs that is called the squash vine borers. Okay, now what I've noticed with this squash right here, I did not lose not one vine, guys. So that let me know that these here, the squash vine borers, they don't bother them at all. Now, that is one of the beautiful thing about it. So because these right here are squash, you can also make sure you plant these out in the springtime, so that way you can have some harvest while all your other squash is being affected by squash vine borers. These one you don't have to worry. Okay. Now, with these squash right here as well, guys, you can pretty much harvest them at any stage. Okay, at any stage you can harvest them at their young stage, and you can even let them stay on the vine for into the fall. Okay, and that is when you will harvest these squash right here. And guess what? You can put them away in storage. And that is what we're talking about all the time when I do these videos, guys, is food preservation. You make sure that whatever you're planting, that it can store for a while. Okay, now these right here, when you leave them on the vine to get even vine ripened and harvest them in early fall, what happened? You can store these right here for 4 to 6 months in storage. Okay, so I also want you to go ahead and keep that in mind. These squash right here as well, guys, they do have quite a bit of good nutrients that your body need. They are also full with vitamin C and vitamin A as well, guys. And, you know, of course, in the winter months, while, you know, say for instance, if something were to happen and food is scarce, hey, vitamin C, your body need that. Okay, so that way you can build your body immune, you know, build up your immunity in your body. And so this squash have that as well. So definitely This is a squash right here that, I will definitely grow again. Simple reason why: I don't have to worry about squash vine borers. So that is one of the great benefits with this squash right here. Now I'm going to also talk a little bit about what I did when I planted these squash right here, because remember, I don't have any water source. So I actually want to take you on over to where I have one of the vines planted, so we can talk a little bit about what I went ahead and do. Come on along, let's go. So here I am right next to one of the vine right here. And also look at that. We have another beautiful squash right here as well. And before I get into this, I'm going to give a little backdrop on these squash and why I actually plant this variety of squash this year, guys. I was talking to my mom, and she called it a pumpkin. Of course, I would have called it a pumpkin as well, because hey, it looks like a pumpkin, right? But nonetheless, I was talking to my mom, and she was saying, hey, there's a pumpkin out there that, have a long neck on it, have a long neck on it. And she said, you know what? I love the flavor of that pumpkin. And, I came across these seeds right here. And of course, they had a picture of the seeds of the pumpkin itself, or the squash itself, because that's what this is. And I showed it to her, and she said, hey, yes, that's the one right there me I talk about, And so, guys, I went ahead and planted these squash right here, not just for food preservation, because guess what? That's what mama loved right there. And so, of course, I plant that right there for mom. But of course, like I said, I will plant this squash again. Now, like I said, I put this variety over here because actually it will cross with a pumpkin. Okay, so that's one of the things that you also want to keep in mind. And because I want this variety right here to stay true, guys, and not cross up with what I have planted back there at home. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about how I planted this squash right here, guys. Now remember, like I said, don't have water source here. I have to bring water in. So what I did, once I planted the seeds right here, I let them go ahead and germinate. Of course, I had to come over here maybe within that time while it was germinating, probably about 3 times or so, to water them heavily. Now what I did, I built a mound. Okay, I built that mound up, and what that is going to do is going to help to retain water underneath the ground, and it won't dry out down there real fast. And so once this seeds germinated, I came on in with some hay here from my goat pen, and I simply put it around the base of the plant. Okay, and what that is going to do is going to keep the soil moist, and that way these plants will have some water in there over a more period of time, so it can feed this vine right here. And even if you look down here, guys, you see that soil is real nice and moist, so that keep me from coming over here every other day or so to water them. Okay, so that right there, keep that in mind. And of course we do get rainfall as well to help us to water these squash. But nonetheless, what I want to go ahead and do right now is pretty much just kind of go ahead and walk around, just to kind of show you all the productivity on this squash right here. Of course, like I just showed you guys that one, that is a real beautiful one. Even just coming over here, guys. Now you know me. I ain't about just coming around here and show you all the big ones. I'm gonna show you everything, the big, the small, and the large, and all that's in between. I'm gonna show it to you guys, because for me, it's all about learning. Okay, if I come out here and just show you everything that is pretty and don't show you the failures, I'm not doing you guys no justice. All right, here is another mound that I have. As you all can see how this mound is high up. Okay, build it up, same thing that I did with everything else. And here we have another one sitting on that mound. And just even looking at these vines here, guys, look real nice and healthy. Now, what this squash plant is going to also do, if you notice, the leaves are now, they're dying back. Okay, they're dying back. So I'm still going to leave these squash here on the vine, because guess what? The vines still have life. So therefore, these squash, they will still be getting fed until the vine pretty much die out. Okay. Yes, like I believe I told you, I planted these in early spring, and this is the result now, guys. But you come on down. We'll just keep on showing you all the productivity. That right there is another one, and for the most part, they're sounding really good. Okay, now one of the things, even with these squash, here is another, also another here, and we have two right here. That sounds real good. These actually sound like they're at that point where I can start harvesting. But look at this one. This one here is growed so funny to me. Look like it's almost two squash in one, but hey, it doesn't matter. We're going to eat them up anyway. Okay, guys. And also another thing with these squash here as well, the seeds. Okay, the seeds are also good for roasting. Now, if you all have ever heard that, hey, you know, pumpkin seeds or even the squash seeds is good for prostate, you know, for men and stuff like that. So of course we will save some of these seeds, and hey, my wife loves pumpkin seeds and I do too. Okay, but guys, you could keep on coming on around, and we're going to show you. Here we have some that is a bit tiny. Sound like they can go a little bit more, but I don't believe that these one will get any bigger, guys. All right, so, and right over here we have some more, and oh, look at that. That right there, guys, is a wild maypop. Look at that. Now, that is the beautiful thing about being able to also identify plants, even though we're not here to talk about that today. But that is a maypop there, guys. And also we have, look at that. Now, over my years of growing pumpkins, and you know, this is my first time growing this, or even growing squash, I usually see small little cracks, guys, but not cracks the size of that right there. We have some, yeah, I think we're gonna harvest that one, but we also have a couple more small ones down here. This one, maybe it was being feed really well, and so we have a little bit of split there. I don't want to damage. Let's see what's going on here. Oh wait, look at that, guys. And they kind of damaged the vine just a little bit. Damaged the vine just a little bit, but I think it will. Oh, yeah. Look at that right there, guys. Now that's a heavy one. Okay, now you know what I'm going to do. This one will be sitting down in Mama's kitchen until she get home. So she are going to be very surprised. Okay, so sounds pretty good as well. I'm waiting to see what she's going to do with this squash right here, guys. Now that is a beautiful one, except for that split. I say right at about 15 pounds. Could be a little bit heavier, but all right, guys, we're going to rest this one right here, and we're going to go ahead and keep on going around. Okay, here we have a couple more small ones right over here. We also have a small one down here, and also another one that's growing in between the dirt and this stick. So look at that. It done took the shape of the stick. But that's another one. And we also have another nice, beautiful one right there inside, guys. Okay. Have a few more here. Let's go a couple more. Also another baby. But like I said, it doesn't matter. Whether it's small, it's still eatable. And in a little bit, we will talk a little bit more about that food preservation that I'm talking about as well, guys. Come on around here. Okay, so here we go. We have a couple more there. And look at here. We have a couple more small ones. Look at that there, guys. That is beautiful. Now, I don't really want to kind of break too much of these leaves off of them, because what that leaf does, guys, it acts as a shade for these plants. You know, my first time planting them, but I know back home when we used to do pumpkins, we used to have to come on in and cover them with grass out in the field. Simple reason why: the sun will burn them, guys. Okay, so we used to have to get grass and cover those pumpkins, keeping them from getting sunburned. But here we have, now that is a really nice one, pretty huge. Here go another one as well. Also another big one over here. Yeah, I think we got a couple more big ones. Look at this one. Look at that. That's more big ones. And from what I'm hearing, some of them do sound like they're ready to be harvested, but we're going to leave them until, you know, early fall. And here we have another one here, guys. So, you know, this Cushaw squash is, hey, for the seeds I plant out here, and from what I'm seeing, it's going to be a great harvest, guys. Now, what I will do when I get ready to harvest, I'll take you all in as well, and we can pick them together. Now, I know this was one of those things that I didn't take you all along with when I planted them, but you know, just showing you the aftermath of what they are looking like, and to just let you know, guys, look at this. This is my first time planting Cushaw squash, and what I want to go ahead and let you know, that when you get out there and you plant that seed, you must automatically go in with faith, knowing that that seed that you put in the ground, it's going to grow. Okay, just like the words say, having faith the size of a mustard seed. Now, if you have doubt within your heart that if you plant this and it's not going to survive, then you already somewhat kind of defeat yourself. Okay. What I've noticed as well with these Cushaw squash, as far as bugs, guys, any bugs period, they don't fool with this plant right here. I haven't seen none. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys as well. Nonetheless, I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you all out there for stopping by the Humble Servant Homestead. And as always, peace and blessings to each and every one of you all out there. Remember, keep a smile on your face. You be happy, you be blessed, and you be cheerful, guys. And also remember, get on outside and get that vitamin D. That right there will let you put a smile on your face. Just like how at times you see that sun will be smiling at you. That's what gives you happiness. Get on outside, get in the field, get in a garden, go do something outside. Have a blessed day.